everybody, good afternoon. Welcome back to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Dave Bradford with you every month, just for one day each month, to bring you a brand new exclusive collection from Carnation Crafts. We've already done one show, and to all of you who've already ordered this, thank you very much. I know it's been a very, very busy launch indeed. But for those of you that are just tuning in, maybe finding us for the first time, we do this every single month. One exclusive collection from Carnation Crafts that you cannot get anywhere else. Now, obviously you're watching us either on Facebook or YouTube, or maybe through carnationcrafts.co.uk. However you're watching us, we're here for the next hour to bring you the best of this collection and give you loads of hints and tips and ideas from the lovely Carla and Taz as well, who's joining me today too. Just a quick word though, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you would like to subscribe to us on YouTube, if you go to YouTube and search for Carnation Crafts, you can actually sign up and subscribe there. And by doing that, you'll then get regular updates and you'll never miss a show when we put another show in. Maybe that you're not expecting, you'll get a notification to say that we're about to do a show. So if Carnation Crafts is your favourite thing, just sign up on YouTube, and that way you can keep abreast of everything that's coming up, of course, as well. Now, the glamour of winter. Let me show you the glamour of winter. What do you associate with glamour? Is it shoes and handbags? If that's the case, you're in the right place, aren't you, Carla?
Mm-hmm. Yes, for the dies, yes, not for me wearing them, yes.
Now, this is a fantastic collection, and I've got some really good news as well. We've got a discount code for those of you watching us as well. This is exclusive, so if you would like to get your 10% off the price, and who wouldn't, it's GOW, so gifts... what's it called again?
Glamour of Winter.
Glamour of Winter, GOWCC10, okay? GOWCC10. Put that into the promo code box. That will get you £12.50 off the price and free P&P as well. And also, I've got another nice surprise for you. The vignettes, of course, the artwork, in other words, that goes with these dies. Always you can print that off free of charge, of course, on Carnation Crafts website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. And it's usually one colourway will be free, and other colourways you'd have to pay for, maybe £20. But today, the guys and the ladies at Carnation Crafts have given you the extra artwork absolutely free of charge. So you've got the shoes and the handbags and this beautiful oak leaf as well in different colourways that you can print off free of charge as an extra kind of Christmas bonus. So have a little look at the website after you've made your purchase. Now let's just have a little look at these dies, and then we'll crack on and show you some finished cards in just a second and do some demos too. One thing about this collection that makes it really different and really exciting is this. Now you look at that and you think, what is it? It's actually a die that will allow you to make pop-ups. So in other words, that die there will give you effects like this. How amazing is that? Every card you make now, well not every card, but most cards you make now can be pop-ups by using that die. Now that is available separately for those of you that don't necessarily want to spend £100 or whatever today. You can buy that on its own, the pop-up mechanism, and that will work in any card that you're making. So not just Carnation Crafts cards, any cards you're making, you can have a pop-up in the center using that. So that's really exciting. And then you've got all these wonderful, wonderful dies. You've got your frosted oak. That's the card blank, basically, but you can use it in lots of ways, and Carla will show you more about that fairly soon. But look at that beautiful detailed die and the mats and layers to go with it as well. You've then got all of your wonderful foliage. You've got over here this crystallized wisp. Down the bottom, that's where you get the glamour, because you've got all those beautiful high-heeled shoes, those wonderful handbags, the corners, and also that wonderful spray down there as well. So the whole thing magically comes together, and you can be making works of art just like this. Look at some of these cards here. Sue Dalrymple has done this one. Beautiful on the front, just as beautiful on the inside, using the oak as the pop-up, the oak leaf as the pop-up in this case. And by the way, the demonstration to show you how to use the pop-up, we did that in the first show earlier this morning at 9 o'clock. So if you want to watch that back after this show, please feel free, you can do that. We're not going to be demonstrating the pop-up in every single show. So the 9 o'clock show this morning is where you'll see the demo for the pop-up. But this is done by Barbara Treadwell. No pop-up in that one, but what a beautiful, beautiful card. They're just stunning. They really, really are. This easel card that I've got here, not using the shoes, but using the wonderful foliage and the artwork. All there for you to print off now in different colourways now at carnationcrafts.co.uk. Busy morning, wasn't it?
It was a very, very busy morning. We suspect it'll carry on being busy all day. Just a quick reference point that if you do want to get the pop-up shape on its own, it's running out fast.
Yes.
So if it is just something that you want to buy on an individual, I have a feeling it will sell out before the end of the week. So now's the time to grab it if you want it, just because I don't think it will last the week. Annie just says she's just ordered the pop-up device. I think lots of people have.
Yeah.
I can understand why. independently away from the collection. Obviously it works beautifully with this collection, but it will work with all of your previous dyes. Mark actually was saying in between the shows that the little ballerina girl that's looking up to the dressing table on one of the previous collections would be amazing as a pop-up, as she popped up with that little dressing table behind her. He's quite right.
And the little mice.
The little mice.
Pop-up mice.
It would be amazing on so many of the things that we've already had and already done. So imagine those little animals from the jumper vignettes that we had popping up in front of the magic fireplace, for instance, all the different ways and elements that we can use it. So lots and lots of uses for it. I don't think it's going to last long. Now is the time to grab the pop-up element.
Absolutely.
But we are here for Glamour of Winter, and it is incredible. So shall we have a look at the boards and have a look at what we've got? So you have got your absolutely gorgeous frosted oak card shape, and it is a banger.
I don't think I've ever seen a die quite like this before.
And the fact that it's a card shape, just so pretty. You've got your mats and layers, and then you have got this element on top. It's the first one I can think of in memory with Carnation where you've got a piece that works as an independent piece of, element of card making, but it's also then the card shape as well. It's the first one I can think of where it's that strong in its piece. So I love it. I love the fact that you've got the extra leaves that go with it as well. These two are larger than the ones above, but they both, as you can see, you've got the dies that take it in both directions. So it just works as this falling leaf, this gorgeous winter feeling to it. And it does look frosted. It has got a real genuine frosted touch.
You know, I said to you that if you ordered today in these shows, it will be dispatched straight away. Carnation are brilliant at getting your orders out straight away. Just had a message here from Suzanne Page. She says, hi, Carla, Dave and Miss Taz. Ordered the whole lot and the papers, perfect papers. Of course, I'll mention those in a minute as well. Couldn't resist this. Ordered in the last show. It's already on its way.
Yeah, not surprised. So Carnation, as soon as you put an order in, as a general rule, will be there with their little elves picking and packing as soon as it's there, and they get it straight out to the customers. They are incredibly customer focused, which is what we expect and what we would, I don't think anyone would think any less now. I think people would actually start to worry if they were late with their orders because Carnation are so quick. This pop-up element, which is just epic. It's made up of 2 dies. And we did demo it this morning. Please do go and watch that show if you want to see it in full demonstration mode so you know how to use it. But what it gives us is this amazing piece where we can use this on any card, and it gives us that full pop-up mode, which means we can make all of our pop-up cards. Now we can use it in more ways than one. You can add 2 or 3 of them together to create layered pieces, or you can, we saw a card earlier from Janine where you've got the 2 that face each other. It's almost like a beak as it opens. Lots of ways to play with it. It just means that every card you're going forward, regardless of the collection that you use it for, regardless of the company that you use it for, you have got a pop-up element and mechanism.
As a customer, if I'm buying a card that's got a pop-up element in it, I'm expected to pay, and I'm willing to pay extra for the card. So, you can make more money if you do sell your cards.
Yeah, I mean, remember when you're making a pop-up card, and if you're selling them, to price it accordingly, because in actual, essence, you're making 2 cards, the front and the inside. Yeah. So you're getting double there as well. So it's just brilliant for crafting. We go on to the shoes and the hat. I love these. Look at this. I'm so in love with the corner elements. They're just so beautiful. The colourway on this is extremely pretty.
Now, we've raided Carla's shoe cupboard to get inspiration for this collection.
See, if I was to get Nick to make a shoe collection, if Nick's listening, I would need a slippers and bum bag collection. If you could make me a slippers and bum bag collection, that would be great.
Or wellies and DMs.
Wellies and DMs, or DMs and carrier bags would be more mine. DMs and carrier bag would be my collection if you could possibly do that. That's more my walking life, not really the heels, but one day. Actually, never. It's never going to happen. So there's your white heel with that gorgeous, the white shoe, sorry, with the gorgeous purple heel. You've got the gorgeous purple bag here with beautiful flowers on. So what we're looking at here is having a base card for each one of these. So that means we can make a card independently from this. You can have a card shape behind it and have that with a little sentiment coming off it. Super quick and easy, but we can then obviously make more complex designs. Same goes for the shoe, but where we get the corner elements, you have both the mat and the layer, and this is a split layer at the bottom, so you can do over the edge cards, which are so pretty with these elements. So that's the same for all of the collections. We then just have different shoes and handbags. I love the red in that. I really love the fact that it's got that kind of oriental feel to it. It's super pretty. And the corner element kind of matches in with that so perfectly. Just really, truly beautiful. And we have a third one as well. And I think that is an absolute corker, because those pip lines where we can cut down and have things cascading out of that bag are so pretty.
And as we said in the previous show, one person comes to mind looking at the handbags, looking at the shoes. It has to be Wheeler Dealer.
Miss Doris herself,
Absolutely, yes.
who was here yesterday, she would be absolutely enamoured with this collection.
Yes.
But you do get all your decoupage as well, so you can build these up, which is really, really pretty. We get to make these gorgeous blooms with these corners, and again with the shoes and with the handbags as well. And then we have your little glitz elements. I love these so much. There is something incredibly intoxicating about these when we're crafting, because they make such beautiful backgrounds.
I mean, imagine
what they do.
Imagine that cut out maybe half a dozen times to make it like a mandala.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but when you add them into, you know, if you've got those florals and you start tucking these in and you get these blooms, and that's what works so well with this collection. We have on top of that the berries and the leaves. These are so pretty, and they look frosted. They genuinely, when you see them on a card, they look like they've got ice on them. They're so pretty.
And if you've got glossy accents or glossy highlights, make them shiny. That would look lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to add those elements into it. Then your leaves, so you can make this beautiful bloom that comes out. And hopefully we'll get to demo that a little bit today and look at how they work as they come out of the card, you know, with those gorgeous corner elements, or everything working together. And then this. That, on its own, again, if you're buying an individual, that is worth its weight, because add a couple of those together to create that kind of flow that goes out from your card on a background. It's so pretty. These are the elements that finish your card off. So you might look at it independently and go, when would I use it? Actually, it's the ones, these are the ones, we use them all the time. They become a staple within our card making, because it's the backgrounds that we need to make the most astounding cards.
Now, if you are watching this right now and you're thinking, okay, I've still got a few last minute Christmas gift ideas that I need to get a crafty friend, for example, or a member of the family that's into their card making, remember our website isn't just there to show you this collection. It's there for all your crafting essentials. Things like your perfect papers, for example. Now, the perfect papers are actually 300 GSM quality cardstock, and you're going to get 48 sheets. Now, if I just pick up a card at random here, let's see who's done this one. This is Vera Bow has done this one. If I just hold that next to the perfect papers, can you see that all of the colorways in the shoes and the handbag are mirrored by the perfect papers? So it's all going to work together beautifully well. If you fancy the perfect papers, they're $14.99. If you're buying the main collection, of course, it will be included without any P&P charge. Just add this to your order and your order will be sent to you. 221211 is the item number for the perfect papers. That's available. But check the website for things like Pro Paper that we always recommend that you print your vignettes, the artwork on. Things like the everyday glue, things like the glue applicators, all the everyday essentials that we as crafters need on a day-to-day basis. Why not put like a little hamper together of all the Carnation Crafts goodies and order that at the same time, and the whole thing will be shipped to you straight away. Always love to get your messages on Facebook as well, or on YouTube. Suzanne Page says, I read yours out earlier on, Suzanne, beg your pardon. Karen Vincent says, good afternoon everybody. Annie Foxall says, hello from sunny but really cold Bath. Just ordered the pop-up device, she says. Elizabeth Durant says, New York here, and excited to see this collection. We were talking about New York,
literally just talking about
before
New
we
York
came on air.
just before we came on air. It's one of my favourite places to go. I
Absolutely.
love it.
So you're more than welcome. Great to have your company. And remember, if you want this collection today, there's not just one colourway of the vignettes to download and print off on the website. Carnation is giving you more colours at no extra charge. So you can print those off right now. Your dies will be dispatched straight away. And don't forget that all-important discount code for everybody watching, GOWCC10. So the Glamour of Winter, GOWCC10, that will get you £12.50 off that price and no P&P to pay. If you're in the USA, by the way, like Elizabeth, then your P&P is $4.95 if you go for the main collection. And if you go for the perfect papers, in addition, and other things as well, it's $14.95 P&P. Yes, Taz?
We also have Serenity watching from Pennsylvania.
Serenity in Pennsylvania.
Serenity.
Hi, how are you?
Serenity's a regular.
Yeah, I recognise the name, absolutely. Right.
I would just like to do a quick shout out as well, because something that we keep getting a lot of questions about, there's a lot of confusion about this. So to clear it up so that anybody who is watching can then answer questions who might come up in the crafters group, Carnation do post internationally, not just to the USA. So they will internationally. So they do post across the board, really. If you have queries about that, and I know some people say, oh, I can't order because I don't live in the UK or the US. So I think there was a post last night, someone from Norway, I think. And Carnation will post it to you. If you have any queries, please do contact Carnation Crafts Customer Services. Of course, they'll sort that out for you. It's not just USA and UK. So if anybody does see that come up in the group, I know I've seen a lot of answers where they say, no, Carnation only posts to the US and the UK. That's not true. They will post internationally.
And also remember that this is an exclusive collection, the Glamour of Winter. You can't find this anywhere else at the moment for the time being. And it's the last release exclusive on this channel before Christmas. So if you fancy getting it in your basket right now, it's 221201. And as I mentioned earlier on, when you're making cards, especially if you're making them to sell, either for charity or for personal profit, you hope that your cards are going to be popular. Now, what's more popular than shoes and handbags? I mean, I've got lots and lots of friends that collect them and spend a fortune on them as well. So the chances are, when you make cards with this beautiful artwork, you are going to have them flying off the shelves. So 221201, the way to order is, of course, the website carnationcrafts.co.uk. But do remember, if you watch us on Facebook normally, why not have a little go on YouTube? Because if you subscribe on YouTube, that's the way that you'll get regular updates and reminders when shows are coming. So you're not going to miss anything, basically. Okay? Yes, Tassie.
I'd also like to point out, if you do subscribe,
Yep.
you're not charged.
Nope.
And we don't get any information from you that you don't want us to have.
Yeah, so perfect, absolutely. No charge for that whatsoever. It's just basically you'll be kept up to date as to what we're doing as a channel.
We wouldn't have time to deal with the information if we did get it, just so you know. So you can buy whatever you want, we don't know. Right, I just want to have a little bit of a chat about the concentric ovals, and then we're going to get on with demo, if that's okay. So the concentric ovals are a set brought to you from Carnation, which are nested dies. Said it before, say it again, nested dies, most important dies you'll own, because they're the most used that we own. They're the most versatile that we own, and they come into to use whenever we're making card bases. They also come into use for mats and layers. They also come into use for apertures, all of the things that we could possibly want when we're making cards. And these are a right corking little set.
And how many? You get loads in there.
Tons. I don't know how many there is altogether, but there's a lot.
I mean, it's really unusual as well to see a slightly different shape to the inner ovals to the outer ovals.
Yeah, of course. 1, 2. I can't. I just can't. There's
I'll
loads.
count.
Miss Tiztaz is sorting it for me. But you've got all of the different layers here, and then you've got the smaller ones on the inside, which means we get to make loads of different things. Yes, Miss Tiztaz?
28.
28 dies, so a ton of them.
And they go down in like a couple of millimetre.
Yeah, each time you've got a little increment here. I think it's 2 millimeters by sight, so it goes down each time. But you can play with them. So if you think, for instance, say like you took the bottom two, card base, and then a mat, maybe a layer even as well, and then we start using these ones where you can place that and what difference it would make to your card making and how you would make that card. So lots of different ways to play. I do want to give a big shout out to them, because lots of people miss the nested dies, then come back later and go, where did you get those nested dies from? Carnation Crafts do an inordinate amount of nested dies that have got some of the most unusual shapes and backings. So please do go onto the website, type in nested dies, see what comes up. You'll find a ton there, and they're always our best friends when we're crafting.
Now, the lovely thing I think about Carnation is the fact that you've got that instant gratification. You place your order, you get the email confirmation telling you that it's been dispatched, probably within an hour of you actually placing your order or something like that. But then, after you've placed your order, go to the website, marvel at all the wonderful vignettes and the artwork. You've got the single-sided vignettes, you've got the double-sided front and back vignettes to print off as well. And you can sit there this afternoon looking at the beautiful artwork, and your dies will arrive in next to no time.
So Karen Rushbrook has said, would Carnation Crafts be able to bring the beautiful corner dies out as a set on their own, as not everybody wants the shoes and bags? It's certainly a question we can pose to them. I think it's possibly unlikely they would bring these ones specifically out because they don't tend to sort of rebag things, if that makes sense.
Right.
But that's not to say that in the future Nick wouldn't bring out a corner collection, which would be an amazing thing to have because those corners are awesome. I know Carnation watch, so they'll certainly hear, and if it's something that they can do, they would definitely try and accommodate that. But I don't think that they would necessarily rejig these ones. What they might do, I can't promise, and I would never make promises on Carnation's behalf, but they may put them onto a USB, in which case you would use them sort of independently that way. So that might be an option as well. But again, I can't promise those things.
Okay, now just to let everyone know, in the earlier show that we did at 9 a.m. this morning, Carla spent the most of the show showing you how the pop-up worked. So we're not going to go into that in too much detail in this show or the later show at 2 o'clock, but it is there for you to watch back on YouTube or Facebook or on the Carnation Crafts website. Okay, so we're more about kind of putting a card together this show, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've done this time is done an 8x8, but I just wanted to change things slightly. So I used basically a corner chomper and I just made rounded corners to my card base. So I just wanted to just sort of cut into them to make a rounded corner because I think they look pretty when they're done, and it's something we don't do often. So I've done it a couple of times with this collection because to me it seemed a really nice way, because a lot of the shapes that we've got are kind of rounded with the crystallized wisp and with the autumn leaf shape and the shoes. There's a lot of curvature on there, and I thought I would bring that in to the card base as well.
Technical term, corner chomper.
Corner chomper is actually called a corner chomper, the one
right.
I've got. They're not all called that. I've got something that is called a corner chomper, and so that's what I used for it. You can just use your standard corner cutters. And I think most of us have them in our craft stash, don't we? So we've got this beautiful cornered edge to it, and then I went ahead and did the same with my mats and layers, and you can see the different kind of tone that we get with it being rounded. There's something very pretty about it, soft about
isn't it?
Yeah, it gives it a really beautiful soft element. Because we're working with a collection that's very feminine, I just wanted those softer edges. So again, we pull our tabs down halfway, so that we can get our mats and layers into place, slip and slide. And I've got my tabs held in my hand so I can find the right spot, which I can't do brilliantly when I'm not able to lean forward. But once I'm roughly there, we can do our little place and pull. Same thing on this one. This is that new weird
and
photo.
these perfect papers are just gorgeous. The colorways are wonderful, and whenever the vignettes get produced and the artwork gets put together, they always make sure that they issue perfect papers that coordinate and match beautifully with the artwork. So add those into your order if you'd like to for £14.99p.
I always seem to be able to bag my demos up perfectly, and then when I get them out, they've always got some kind of glue attached to them, so I do apologise, but I'm going to cover that up. Hey, this one's got a bit as well. Let's just have a party with it. Right, what I've done here, just to explain, the bottom mat that I've got here is on a 1mm foam tape. The cream mat that I've got on top here is a 3mm, and this one that I'm using is a 5mm. So what I'm doing is stepping height here, and I do that for a specific reason. It's not just there randomly. I start lower and I build up height, and what that does is create a platform when I'm crafting. Now, because I'm using those rounded corners, it seemed like a really beautiful way to create a stage. And the reason we're creating a stage is the things that we are then putting on top of that stage are so infinitely pretty, right? We're using something very soft, very feminine, very, very beautiful. And so it seems right to create a nice rounded stage for those to go on. And that height build just sort of helps with that. Oh, wait, right, I'm back. So then I'm using one of my filigree elements, and I'm going to place that on top. I've got choices here, and I just want to talk about those choices very, very quickly. If I can get this backing off here.
Would those filigree frames be on the website?
This is your petite square frame, so yes, you'll be able to get that onto the website. The thing about this collection, because that leaf is so beautiful, and I will make a card with that leaf shape, but it's quite small, isn't it? And we want to be able to use all of those elements, and because that leaf is a card shape and it's also the element itself, we can use it mix and match with the other card bases that we've got. If I choose to put this square filigree panel down straight flat on a square onto this rounded surface, it looks super pretty, but I want to talk to you about spatial awareness on cards, if that's okay. just as something that I've learned over the past.
Oh, I've just got the details. Thank you, Taz. If you fancy
welcome.
that square die, it's 210520, the item number, and it's £19.99. Okay, if you fancy that one.
It's got an abundance of layers with it as well. This is just the filigree panel that goes with it, but it's got the card base, the mats, the layers, then it's got a load of layers on top of it as well. It's not just this one piece. Right, spatial awareness on cards. If I place this down here in the center, what I get, and I'm going to sound like I'm really odd here, but what I get is this small platform in the center to work with. Because I've got the filigree detail on the outside, it would seem right that everything that goes on top of that square sits within that sort of frame there, which would draw it right down, and that's a really beautiful look. However, if you want to make the space that you're working with bigger and still use your filigree panels, by turning it to a diamond, we suddenly extend the space. Why? I don't know, but it's something to do with your visual spatial setting, I suppose. Small space, much bigger space.
It is, yeah.
It's exactly the same piece. It's just about
like
how
an optical illusion.
It is.
Yeah.
It's how we visualize. So when I work with it that way, I am reducing the space that I work in. When I work with it that way, I make it much bigger. So always be aware of how you can change things very simply with the slightest technique. And it's just about how we use space.
And I love the fact you've got the height of the foam pads or the foam tape, and it creates that shadow.
The shadow underneath, the drop shadow. Drop shadows are super important because it's just like a little visual trick that we don't necessarily know that's been played on us. Because the shadow is there and we see it and it becomes part of the card. It becomes as extremely important as the actual pieces we put on top, and it's just there. But you can see by having the rounded corners with the diamond shape, we create this really beautiful structure between the rounded and the pointed at the same time. So we get this really nice balance. So I'm going to go in here with the shoes. And then I've got the leaves and the berries that I'm going to play with, and it's how we then just construct those into the piece that we want.
Now we're always being asked about what paper to print the vignettes onto. What do we recommend? We always say Pro paper. That's what we thoroughly recommend, and that's on the website as well. And again, you can order that at the same time if you want to, because it's the perfect surface to print onto, isn't it?
Yeah, it just doesn't absorb colour because it's got a low chalk content, so you don't need to worry about your colours disappearing. Now with the shoes, I'm going to use two shoes. I'm going to use the Brain's Gone Pin Flare. Ooh, I had a moment. We're going to use the pin flare because I want to be able to move, because I'm going to tuck things behind them, but I want to know how I'm going to tuck behind them before I commit to anything. And it's about creating the bloom. My instinct, whenever I'm creating something that's going to be a bloom coming out, which is what I'm going to do here, for some reason I always want to start it in the left-hand corner. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and force myself to do it from the right. But I always want to start from the left and draw it out to the right. Maybe it's because I'm right-handed, I don't know, but I'm going to start in the left-hand corner. If I'd have made this a square instead of doing it as the diamond, I wouldn't really have wanted to have put anything in the corner. Because I've made it a diamond, I open up that space and I allow myself to put something there. If it was the square, I would feel like I was interfering with the process somehow. Whereas now I feel like I've allowed myself that space to work in. So you just extend your workspace. Now I'm going to pop a bit of pin flare onto there and onto here. I'm not doing too much else with it. And I need that pin flare because I need to be able to move it.
And when that pin flare dries, it dries solid as a rock.
It does.
Yeah.
So I'm going to place and I'm going to leave it because I can still move it. I can still do what I need to do to get to where I need it to be. Now what I want to do is place this second shoe just over the top. So I've got both shoes working together, but I need to create a bloom in the center before I do that. So I'm going to work with my space in between first. So I've got my leaves. And I'm just going to sort of shape them out a little bit. I'm not going to play with them too much. You see all the frosting on them? Aren't they so pretty? They're so lovely. Right, so what I want to do is just check my berries, get my height. I want these to be facing kind of away from each other. So let me grab, there we go. If I take those two, face them that way first. So the first thing I'm going to do, a bit of wet glue, I'll get...
And you have got cut lines in the leaves as well, so it's very, very easy for them to be shaped if you want to shape them.
All of Carnation stuff super easy to shape.
Yeah.
That's the joy of having a bit of a genius at the helm, really, because he makes things, not that I'd tell him that to his face, but he does make things easier. Right, I'm just going to pop a little bit of wet glue just on the side of this leaf, and I'm going to first of all pin those If you think of it almost being like a brooch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pin those first as separate elements because I can work my height downwards from those. So if I've got them pinned, I can then work out where I want my berries to go, and I can work out where I want my bloom to be. So obviously I've got one red and two white. I'm going to use the red in the center and the white on either side to create kind of a symmetry. So I know I want them to fan.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing then I'm going to do is secure those in place. So a little bit of wet glue, not too much, just enough to kind of pin it. Got those into place. So now I've made my second brooch. Actually, they'd be very pretty as brooches.
They would be.
If you just put a little safety pin on the back of those. So I know that I've got my prettiness. I haven't glued anything down yet. I'm just creating height. So I know where I need to be. So then I'm just going to add two more leaves at the bottom. So I create that bloom. So the next thing that I'm going to do, knowing that I want these to be more open, I'm just going to make sure I've given myself enough space and pin those two together. So my third brooch, if you think of them in stages as layered brooches, it gives you an idea of where you want to be. I know my shoes roughly in the right place, and I know my height now is going to be around about there. Now, because I want the height to kind of go that way, I don't want it too much to interfere with that corner. I don't need it to, but I can put it about there and then work out my second shoe because I don't want my working out to be showing. So where those leaves are, I don't want them to be seen, the ends. I need to cover them up like a grounding device almost, and you can see how that then comes together. So you can work out your height and your narrative of what you're doing by working out from top to bottom where it's going to go. So little bit of pin flare and we start to build.
And we're coming into the most glamorous time of the year, aren't we? And probably this year, I think more and more people are going to be going to fancy parties. Maybe not for the last couple of years, but this year I think lots of people are going to dress up in their finery and go out and celebrate the festive season.
I mean, I think that's what most humans do. I, however, usually sit with some, sausage roll crumbs down my jumper. Probably a little bit less glamorous than most.
And watch Home Alone.
Watch Home Alone. That is what we're watching this year. The boys have asked. So yes, I'm not quite the glamorous person to be basing that upon. Right, placing this down. So now look at that bloom just coming out and then drawing back towards the top with those two beautiful
And
leaves.
pin flare glue gel, how long would that take to dry before it's really solid?
I mean, it's going to take about 2 hours before it's really solid,
Right.
but I do tell everybody to wait 24 hours before you post it. Then you know absolutely that it's dry. It is a patient adhesive. You have to have patience with it.
But you're also not panicking, thinking, oh no, it's going to set so quickly, I'm not going to have time to wiggle it or
Oh,
whatever.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love my squish room. Right. Now, you could put a sentiment on that, and I think it is really beautiful. But what I have got here is just a couple of gems that I'm just going to seat in this corner. And the reason I'm going for this corner and none of the others is because we've got that journey going across the card. We've already got the soft edges, so I'm not too worried. So I'm just going to pick up a little gem, place one, and I'm going to draw the line back down. So I've got one larger one. I'll go down incrementally in size.
And because it's the glamour of winter, it could be little dewdrops, it could be little
could.
ice crystals.
What I will say, while I've got these here, these are just cheap and cheerful little stickery things that I found online. Just let me move that back slightly so it's even. Just placing that there. If you are feeling a bit fancy, you could take some gems and just add them to that tipping point of the berries so it looks like you've got little dewdrops on it, or like it's the top of the berry itself. And that's another way of playing and adding a little bit of glitz and glamour. There's lots of ways to play.
And also you could gem up your shoes as well. Lots of shoes have got gem embellishments on them too, so you can really kind of go to town with this. It's all about the glamour of winter. This is the second show of 3 today. There's another show at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but of course it's not imperative that you watch the live shows. You can watch these shows back whenever it's convenient for you, either on YouTube or on Facebook, or indeed you can also watch it back, of course, on carnationcrafts.co.uk. But this collection today is very, very, very different in that it's giving you the pop-up element. So we didn't demonstrate it in this show, and we won't probably demonstrate it in the 2 o'clock, but the 9 o'clock show we did this morning showed you a really in-depth demonstration as to how to get your pop-up cards working properly. And that's the element there that gives you the pop-up, that element of surprise. And it's not just going to work with the oak leaf, it's not just going to work with this collection. That's a pop-up mechanism for any card you're making. And it could be pop-up pictures of yourself that you want to put in a card. It could be the little characters maybe from Carnation, like the mice and that sort of thing. You want those to pop up. So previous collections you bought and wonderful characters that you've got dies for, they can now be part of the pop-up as well. Let me just show you some more finished cards. Pam Simpson of our DT team, our design team, has done this particular one. Beautiful on the front and just as stunning on the inside. That's what the pop-up mechanism can allow you to achieve. How gorgeous is that one? This is a double easel, and this is done by, who's made this one? This is Janine Dawson who's done this. Look at that. So an easel at the front with the shoe, another easel at the back with the sentiment on it as well. This one's done by Sue Durimple. Hi Sue, regular one of the design team. Stunning, absolutely beautiful. And remember, today is the first time I think we've done this. We normally give you the vignettes and the artwork on the website free of charge, but it's usually in one colorway, and you normally have to pay another £20 or something like that if you want another colorway. But today we're giving you a bonus extra colorway for the shoes and the handbags and all the artwork free of charge. So buy this today. When you've ordered it, you'll get an email very, very quickly saying it's been dispatched, and then just have a little look on the website, go to carnationcrafts.co.uk and print off all the artwork onto your pro paper. This one's done by Barbara Treadwell. Hi Barbara, you messaged in earlier on today. Look at that. Isn't that stunning?
Beautiful,
I mean, all these
right?
cards are stunning. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's the card. If you can just hold that last
yeah.
one up again, that is the oak, the frosted oak card shape. So
Right.
if you turn that round to the back, so you can see the shape of that. Now I'm hoping to demo that as this afternoon.
Okay.
So probably in the next show, the actual card shape, we will be doing a full demo of it. Might be in this show. We'll see how much time we've got, but definitely have a look at that because it looks incredible.
Barbara's done this one as well. Beautiful.
Those
So
corners.
you don't have to use the pop-up in every card, of course you don't, but it's there for you as an option, and it perhaps is something you've been looking forward to or looking out for because you want to do something new with your cards. You're getting maybe stuck in a rut with what you do with your card making. A pop-up in the middle is always going to add more interest, and also it means you can charge more for your cards as well. Now don't forget, the perfect papers are a must because, again, if I just pick a card here at random, let me just pick this one from Janine. You can see the colour of that red handbag matches that cardstock there. You've got, again, other elements and other colours of the berries and that sort of thing you'll find in the perfect papers as well. Just move that in so you can see it a little bit better. So nothing clashes, everything works together beautifully. 48 sheets, 6 colours, 8 of each, all 300 GSM, so it's cardstock, not paper, and it's 221211 at £14.99. Pop it into your order along with your dies and you're just set to go. Is this a Christmas gift? Is this a winter treat for yourself? Remember, if you want the pop-up mechanism, that is available as an option on its own, but the stock is going incredibly quickly, as you could expect, for just £17.99. But if you buy the bundle, you're going to get that pop-up mechanism in there along with everything else that you can see here today. It's a stunning collection, really, really is. Okay, 221201, and it's, remember that all-important discount code, GOW, for Glamour of Winter, GOWCC10. If you put that into the promo box, you get £12.50 knocked off the price. It should be £162.92, so it's a really good deal today. So just over £112 to pay if you use the discount code, and free UK P&P as well. We've got enough time to do 2 demos in this show.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So as you've seen, it is the most incredible collection. What else would we expect? If you're brand new to Carnation Crafts, you'll be wondering where to get the artwork from. That is from their own website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. There is a banner menu there. One of the options is downloads, and when you click that, you can go to free downloads. When you click on that, you're able to type in on the right hand side the collection that you want. The collection that you want today is Glamour of Winter. You'll see all the PDFs come up. You need to put in the ones that you want. Usually they're there for free, and you can pop them in, pop in your free backing papers, pop in your free inserts. You go to checkout and those PDFs will download to your computer from where you put file and print, and you just print them out. Print them on best quality, and if you can, print them to the setting of matte photo paper on pro print paper if possible, and then you pop your die on top and put them through. If your little printout has got a black line down the middle of it, you fold it on that black line, spray glue the inside so it becomes in a piece of A5, and you pop the die on there, and it'll give you what's called a mirrored vignette. That's where the artwork is on both the back and the front of that. That is unique to Carnation. And
Carnation actually invented that, didn't they?
They did, yeah, and it's incredibly important to our crafting because when you've got something that sits upright, especially with a pop-up card, remember it's sitting upright. It means the back of those images will have a colour code on them. It'll look the same. It will look incredible.
But also, not just front and back, it also means you've got a left and a right. So you're going to have a left shoe and a right shoe. You're going to have a left mouse or a right mouse by just literally flipping it around. So the mirrored vignettes are actually game-changing. They really are. And they're on the website for you, absolutely free too.
Double your money. So let's have a look at playing with that leaf, because I love that leaf so much. I think it's breathtaking. So we've got the purple mat here. This is from your Perfect Papers, and we've got your card base. That's already just been stuck down to the card base, no doubt for some nefarious reasons, such as having a paw print on the front. Who knows? It's likely to be Miss Phyllis being very naughty. Just so you all know as well, Carnation Crafts do also have a completely free angel policy. So long as you've cut it, you can sell it. So you have to put a die on top of it and cut it. If you don't do that, you can't sell the files, you can't do anything like that. But if you've printed it and you put a die on it, you've cut it, you can sell it in any format from that point forward. So if you want to sell bags of the dies, the vignettes, you absolutely can. If you want to sell card kits to make at workshops, you absolutely can. All of those things, they're all available.
And like I said before, the popularity of shoes and bags for many, many people that I know is immense. So the chances are your cards that you make are going to be really, really popular. People will snap them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on this one, I have used no foam tape whatsoever. I can hear you all breathing in shock because you know how much I love my foam tape. But that is just using your finger lift tape. However, not to let myself down, the next one is using the backing papers from Carnation Crafts. They're free.
Free.
They're free.
We love that word, free.
Free. So get your backing papers, print them out. So what I've done is use that and I've put them on a 5mm foam tape. So where we've gone from nothing at all, we're now raising, we're lifting up. And we're just going to put this here. We've got the little Carnation stamp on there, wishing you everything wonderful. How lovely is that as a sentiment? Wishing you everything wonderful. Yeah. Right, I'm just trying to get that straight, which I've got absolutely no hope of doing, but I'm near enough.
Looks okay.
That'll
Thumbs up
work.
from Taz.
Thank you, Miss Taz. And that gives me my lovely shape. What using the 5mm does is give me that chunk, that lovely chunky feel to my card. And when we're using a rounded edge like this one, which I think is the petite rectangle card shape, and we've got those lovely rounded edges to it, that chunk gives it that lovely feeling. Right, this leaf, you can see I've cut the bottom off this, because what we're going to do is just place it through so it seats itself in the rounded corners of my petite rectangle. Can you see how it works? Now if I've got the full leaf coming down, it's going to go all the way down here. That's not going to help. So you do need to cut some elements off that. I'm going to cover all of that corner panel anyway, but I do still want the wondrousness of this leaf.
And you've even got the vignette artwork for the leaf as well. I mean, most companies, if they give you artwork that you can print off, don't go and give you artwork for frames or leaves that intricate and fine, but Carnation do.
Carnation do. Now there's lots of things you could do with this. So we've got this where it is, and I can start to either shape this out, I can fold it, I can roll it in different ways, I can leave it absolutely flat and just lay it down. It's entirely dependent on what your card is going to ask for.
Now, by the way, that rectangle that Carla's using there for this demonstration, that is in stock as well at the moment. It's on the website. 210995 is that product code, and it's $19.99 if you fancy those.
What I'm going to do is just, for the sake of this demo, fold it in half so that I get the shape from it. I'm not going to leave it obviously upright. I need to put things on top of it. What I'm just trying to do is get some balance and get some shape. So from there, I'll take my pokey and I'm just going to run it around those edges so those edges fall back on themselves. So essentially what I'm doing is using that center fold just to give me a raise so that I can push those back. So it's just a bit of a lift and a fold, nothing too extravagant. It feels like netting.
Okay.
It's got a really lovely feeling to it. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a shape and a mold, and I'll just push that in at the bottom. Because we've got all of the negative space in there, obviously, where you can put your pokey through to, all those holes, it allows you to really, it's like a mesh, like chicken wire almost, that you can really play and just adjust your shaping to. And you can see there then, once you've done that, that dynamic shape that you get on top changes the way that you're crafting through. What it does do also is leave me with this panel here to be able to still glue it down. And obviously if you glue on the edges as well into shape, it will stay that way through postage.
Now the everyday glue, that's on the website as well for you. We've also got the glue applicators that you see Carla using all the time to just put the tiniest amount of glue on the die cuts. They're all on the website as well. Stock up with those essentials. I said before, maybe put together a little essential hamper for either a treat for yourself or for a crafting friend. They're all on the website.
Carnation station.
Carnation station. That's a good idea.
We all need a carnation station.
Totally.
Although I've had several carnation stations and I keep losing all the bits. Right, I'm just going to put some elements there just to place, and then I'm going to place that down. So I've just got that tiny amount of lift there that just raises up those beautiful leaves. Now that really is going to play with shadows, and that's what I'm aiming for here.
Stunning.
I want that shadow play because we've got that raise, and if we're going to have all of that detail in that leaf, let's make the most of it, right?
Yep.
Let's really go to town with the shadow that I'm getting underneath. So you can see I can fit my whole pokey under there. I could fit a finger under there. I've got the lift and the raise from it. You
Beautiful.
can see I use it as a mesh.
Oh, by the way, the glue is $14.99, and you get do you get 7 or 5 pots?
Seven.
Seven.
Each one has a day of the week on
Okay.
it. Just to give you a very brief overview of the glue, and I will be brief. They have obviously all 7 days of the week. It doesn't matter which day you use. It's a bit of tongue-in-cheek. However, the glue itself is not tongue-in-cheek. It is incredible
Great
glue.
stuff. It really is.
It's PVA. It has a really low water content on it, so it dries quickly, it dries clear. There is enough wiggle room to just move on it, but then it has got the best hold on it. It really does stick. It's beautiful to use.
And the applicators, you can see the tube of applicators. They get loads in each pot. £4.99 they are. They're on the website as well.
They're brilliant.
And they're down from a tenner.
Oh,
are
right,
they?
they're half price. Okay, down to $4.99 from $9.99.
Is this
So
all
stock up.
from Black Friday? The Carnation know that these are all still on sale, by the way.
Who knows?
Well, it's there.
It's there. Whether it's supposed to be half price, we're not sure, but it is.
They're not normally on sale on the website, Carnation. Do you know? Right, let's just go in with some of these little beautiful tuck-ins. So I'm just placing through just tiny amounts. This is why the applicators are important. Where these are, if I use my pokey, you can see that there are all holes in there, they're negative spaces. And so I've got these tiny elements that I can put glue on, like that. And that's why these are so important, because I can find those tiny aspects and I can just pin tiny amounts on.
I mean, if you put the tip of the bottle of the glue up against that, you'll end up with glue everywhere. So just using the applicator makes it really easy.
Well, one thing that I see a massive trend of doing at the moment is putting PVA on the back of your hand and running your die along it. Now, the problem that we have with that is, if I do that and I put PVA on there, and then what people do is kind of rub that through, and then you can see it's already making a horrible mess, and then you run your die along. Okay, and lots of people do that, and I can understand. I get why you're doing it. Now, the first thing I'll say to you is, can you see there? It's filled that hole with glue. Not really a problem until it becomes a problem, because with Carnation specifically, everything's so delicate that if that dries, I'm going to get fuzzy edges all round where the glue dries, and it looks awful.
But also, of course, some people are allergic, so you know it's not ideal to put it on your skin
It's
either.
also a huge waste of glue, I've got to tell you. It is a massive waste of glue. I don't recommend it as a way to craft. I don't think it's a bad way. I just don't recommend it for myself. Certainly not for Carnate. You can see it's making a mess as everything's sort of going down onto the paper behind it, because it's got such a massive influx of glue on it and you can't control the glue. So I don't recommend it as being a way of crafting. I just don't like it for Carnation stuff. Also then, like I said, it's making these all sort of flollopy and lollopy. So I understand why people do it. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a great way of crafting for Carnation. It's up to you what you do. I'm
But
not
get the
telling you how to
applicators,
craft.
problem solved, and you get dozens in each pot, so they should last you. Actually, you get 100. Yeah, 100 applicators.
Also, can I just say they're reusable? So don't just think it's a one-trick pony. Once you've got that, if the PVA's on it, just peel it off and you can reuse them. So you don't have to use them just once. So I'm just going to place that on there.
And actually, you're putting the glue onto the silicone mat, and that should be on the website as well. So all these little
It's
extras.
called a multimedia mat.
Love that map.
And it is an absolute stroke of genius. I do always take for granted the tools that I've got from Carnation because I use them obviously so frequently that I forget to remember how amazing they are. Right, let's get some colour on this. Let's take through with a little bit of colour. Now I'm working from the top of my leaf and I'm working my way down because I want to cover my workings at the bottom. But what I'm doing is spanning through. So we're overlapping on certain elements and bringing it down.
It's so fresh and vibrant. You can almost kind of feel the chill, can't you, in the air with that?
Not in here though, it's a bit maffed in, right?
It's a bit warm in here, yeah, with the lights.
It's a bit maffed in. I'm just going to bring this onto the top. I don't want to cover all of my leaf because I love that delicate network that I get through, as in net work, not network.
I know what you mean.
So I'm just, look at those.
Aren't they
Look
lovely?
at that colour.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Right?
Really
that
vibrant.
Is just so beautiful. And then I'm just going to place these through underneath, okay? So again, we pin these together. I'll just use a little bit of that. So get your brooch formation going again. I'm just going to pin those. I want them to be fairly close. I still want my leaf to show at the side, so I don't want to span them out. Otherwise, what's the point of me putting the leaf there, right?
Sure.
It gives me height, but I still want to see it because it's so pretty. So a little bit just on those edges and just draw that through. That to me is glorious.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Now what I can do, look at that when it's all decoupaged up. Pretty, right? Aren't they beautiful, those corners? They're so stunning. What I can do is just place that straight through. Now, because I've raised the height of my leaf, can you see how that sits with dynamism?
Yeah.
Now, I can, if I want to, then add in extra texture with the leaves. And I might, because I think it's pretty, but I still want that netting to show. So if I do, I'm going to bring it forward, which is why I push the two reds together. Okay, so by having those pushed in, it means I've got the options of adding in those leaves, and I can put one or two, or I can put a few in. What I think I might do is extend that corner just slightly so it raises up. You see how we get that raise going all the way through the card, and it's so pretty. So I think a little bit of this, I'll be peeling that PV off my hand for the rest of the day now.
Now with the handbags and the shoes, you're going to get 3 different flowers. One of them's the anemone, the other one's winter honeysuckle, and the third one is the winter clematis. All 3 different corners. I don't know which one you've got there, but is that the anemone? Not sure.
Honeysuckle? I don't know why are you asking me plant names of all people?
Honeysuckle.
I
That's the
know as
honeysuckle.
much about plants as I do about shoes and handbags. So I'm going to place some pin flare onto here.
Oh, by the way, those applicators, the glue applicators, that is an accidental bargain, I've just been told. They shouldn't be half price, but they are. That's an error. So take advantage of it. Should be $9.99 for 100, $4.99. Stock up if you want. Run, get them quickly because they're going to adjust the price soon.
I thought that was really odd when Taz said it. I thought, yeah, I don't think that's right. I didn't think they should be on there at that.
Pop it into your order. Why not?
I think it's probably something that's been thrown over on the website from Black Friday, and I think it's maybe not been changed, which is why they're on there at that price. What's the deal of the day, Taz?
It is a lily corner, I believe.
Lily corner.
Lily corner.
Oh, very nice.
Talking about corners a second ago, weren't we?
Oh, it's a loving lily dye.
A loving lily dye. That's on the website if you want to see the. Is there a different deal of the day every day? Oh, okay. Check the website out for that.
They're ace. They've had some right corkers. The multimedia map was on there, wasn't it? Not that long ago, Taz.
It's £10.79, down from nearly £18.
Ooh,
Wow.
so you've got about a 40% reduction from £18 down to just over a tenner. Deal of the day at carnationcrafts.co.uk. That is stunning.
Isn't it? I'm not going to leave those leaves there, but what I am saying is that there are alternative options for your leaves. So you can create this to be much fuller. You can pull it back and draw it back. So I'm not going to leave the leaves there. I just wanted to show you that you can and that it looks much fuller.
Beautiful.
You could process them out that way, which I actually I might do that. I really like
And
that.
do you know what? That can be for any occasion. It could be a happy occasion. It could be, hopefully not, but it could be a sad occasion, a sympathy card that will work for as well. So, you know, you've really got lots of versatility, and you're opening it up to maximum appreciation from your customers if you sell your cards. or what member of the family would you give that card to? It would be appropriate for everyone, male, female.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it goes without masculinity or femininity. Obviously, when you start adding the shoes and the handbags in, it's going to generally be more for the females in your life. Not necessarily always, but it is going to be predominantly. However, the rest of the blooms work all across the board.
Am I allowed a favourite card of the day so far?
You can.
That's it.
Okay, thank
That is
you.
it. Okay, now the ovals, the matting and layering ovals. Remember, the unusual thing about these are that you've actually got a slightly different shape oval in the centre than you have on the outside edge. You counted them, Taz, was it 18?
28.
Was it 28 dice? 28 dice in total you've got here. And
28.
these are available if you want them for £27.99. So it's £1 a die, £1 a mat, £1 a layer, which is amazing. Add that into your order if you'd like to. 221210, you write a number there. But it's all about, this is my guilty pleasure. Once a month I get to come here with Carla and Taz and launch an exclusive collection. And this is it for December. Remember, this is not going to be available anywhere else for quite some time to come. The focal point is that frosted oak. Now that can be your card blank, but can also be used as a decorative embellishment, as Carla's just shown you. You've got all of these other wonderful dies as well. This one being a worker die, giving you the pop-up mechanism. So now, in any card that you make, you can have a pop-up in the middle of it. Down the bottom, the main kind of theme of it is, of course, the glamour of winter. So you've got your glamorous shoes, glamorous handbags, those beautiful floral corners, and the flourishes there as well, and the wisp that's up here too. So that is 221201. It's £124.99. Well, actually, it's not, because you're going to be given, and we're just about to put it on the screen now. There it is. GOWCC10. That is your discount code. That will give you 10% off if you pop that in the promo code box on the website, taking it down by £12.50. Free P&P if you're in the UK. If you're in the US or another part of the world, $4.95 will be your postage there. And lots of you are going for the Glamour of Winter Perfect papers, which isn't paper, it's actually cardstock, 300 GSM, 6 colours, 8 of each, perfectly balanced colour to complement the vignettes, which remember are free to print off now. Now normally the vignettes you get one colour option free, and then if you wanted another colour option you'd have to buy that. I think it's normally between 10 and £20. Today you're getting more than one colour option absolutely free, together with backing papers and even inserts that you can print off as well for this collection, and that you can enjoy right now. Remember, if you purchase it now you'll get an email very quickly confirming your order, confirming that it's been dispatched, and you should get it in the next day or two. So it's a great collection. You're loving it. Thank you for all your messages. We've got one more live show, and that's going to be in just over an hour's time at 2 o'clock UK time, so I hope you can join us for that. And remember, you can watch the earlier show back giving you the demonstration of the pop-up mechanism. That was at 9 o'clock this morning. Watch that back on YouTube or indeed on Facebook. See you in an hour.
See you in an hour when we've had something to eat.
Absolutely. See you later. Thanks for watching.